So, today we'll be listening to Faith. Faith is from Azza by Blockverse, another amazing product out of Nigeria. Yes, another Web3 product out of Nigeria, solving problems, problems that are found in Nigeria. So today we'll be learning from her how she and her team are able to build a product from a market in like Nigeria, and one or two lessons that the global builders can take from this in order to build user-centric products. So hang tight, listen, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you check the description below so that you can follow this product, use this product, and leave a review. So today we have Faith on Spotlight with Valikov.
All right. Good morning, Faith. Um, okay, welcome to the interview. All right. Can you briefly introduce yourself and your project, what it does, and who it's for?
Okay, my name is Ijili Fits Olorije, and I'm a product designer for Use Azza. Use Azza is an AI agent that operates on WhatsApp. So it basically allows you manage your cryptocurrency on WhatsApp, so you can trade, buy, sell. Actually, you can pay for stuff with crypto using Azza. So Azza is for anybody everywhere really. For people who want to earn in crypto, who want to save crypto, who want to learn how to use crypto, who want to pay for stuff with crypto. So yeah, that's what Azza is about.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. So today's interview is all about learning how you're building in Nigeria and what global builders can learn from how you're building in a unique market like Nigeria. And I've used as I had to try it out, and I was like, oh wow, it's the fact that it's WhatsApp first. It's like having that kind of simple tool in where conversations happen, where people already are. It makes it very easy for you to just go from your intention to the value you want to get. So let's start with the problem. Um, what specific Nigerian behavior or pinpoint, because you're being out of Nigeria and you're building a solution for, you know, first for Nigeria. Anybody can use it, but then first for Nigeria or pinpoint led you to build this product, and how did that shape your core feature sets? How did that this pinpoint shape how you decided to build on WhatsApp, all those features you decided to go for, even decided to use an AI agent? So how did
Yeah.
the pinpoint or Nigerian behavior? Yeah.
Okay, so I would say that there were a couple of pain points that actually made us build Azza. But I think the most remarkable one is unreliable P2P vendors. So we all know that P2P vendors in Nigeria can be slow. Sometimes they can be fraudulent. They can be untrustworthy sometimes as well. Even with platforms like Bybit and BitGet, there are a lot of horror stories around how people people go away, make away with people's money, and how trades are unresolved and things like that, right? So we as a we try to create a solution where there is no middleman. You don't have to go to an app or anything. You just need to converse straight with the bot and carry out your transaction basically. So another pain point to try to reduce was complex crypto onboarding and user experience and user interface, right? So as a designer, this one is like very much dear to me because crypto is actually quite complex for people who do not understand anything about it, right? So we have normies who do not know anything about crypto. So how do we introduce them to the world of blockchain and crypto and make sure that they understand clearly what it means and what they have to do with it without stressing themselves, etc. So a lot of creative platforms are hard to use, and sometimes you have to download the app. Sometimes the language they use are very, very technical. Copy wallet addresses, swap, mint, all those kind of languages. Yeah. So in Nigeria, this is something that's really stressful because not a lot of people understand this technical jargon. So we thought, why don't we bring this to a platform where people already know how to use? So a lot of people know how to use WhatsApp, even grandmothers in the village, right? It's as simple as possible for them to use WhatsApp. So we thought, okay, WhatsApp already exists. Why don't we bring a solution that can enable people, just carry out transactions on WhatsApp, and that's how the AI bot was born. So basically, we just tried to work against the problem of unreliable P2P vendors and complex crypto onboarding. Yeah,
Wow. Typical example of meet the users where they are. Okay, nice one. And
exactly.
yeah, I totally agree with that. So, uh, unreliable vendors. Yeah. Okay. Um. Okay. Now, next one, right? Your product feels more like a fintech than crypto. Was that intentional? How did you balance Web3 infrastructure with a simplified, familiar UX?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to what you said about meeting the users at where they are. So let me give an instance. A lot of people know how to use OP. In fact, 90% of all the transactions I make with vendors regularly, like OP. They use OP Money Point, PalmPay, and this is because the user experience is super, super simple and very easy to understand. So we try to make Azza feel very familiar to the users. We try to use familiar languages. So all those wallet addresses, the transaction hash, we didn't want to put that there because not a lot of people understand what those were. You understand? So we basically try to hide the more technical parts of the whole blockchain and crypto thing. So just giving them the most important details they needed to know. And yes, for the language being familiar, it was very intentional because if you even look at our receipts, they look like most bank transaction receipts. So this was a very intentional decision because we tried to make sure that the users understand what we're asking them to do. So when you try to make transactions, you don't have to stress too much. You can easily tell the bot, I want to sell 50 USDT on Solana. So basically, all we require you to do is to have a very basic understanding of what chains are and where your money is. So just know that, oh, your money is in USDT on Solana. Just know that you have money in USDC on base, and that's it. That's all we need you to know. And we handle the rest of the technical details. So we try to make sure that the language was very familiar, very similar, very simple, in fact, so that even the most even laymen who do not even know anything about crypto at all can easily understand how to use the bot and how to make transactions. So yes, it was very, very intentional when we try to make it feel familiar like fintechs rather than crypto apps. Yeah. I hope that answered the question.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Answer the question. Okay, the next one. The withdrawal first model seems to be a common pattern, in Nigerian Solana apps. Even from the previous people I've interviewed, being able to make it possible for people to have access to their money. So, why is it so critical here, and how has it affected users' trust and retention?
Sorry, give me a second.
Okay.
So let's go to the withdrawal first model. So in the withdrawal model, you don't even have to, start early, but you want to sell crypto, you want to sell. So it's very simple because it was very critical rather to user retention, because a lot of people want something to be very, very, like, very, very easy. They want transactions to go very fast. They want things that are very simple. So when you say pay 10,000 naira to so account number, so account, so bank, right? It is just very simple and it goes very fast. And of course, everybody will like that, right? So actually, we call it Naira payment. So you can just send in the pay command, and basically, as I just asked you to to state how much you want to send, the bank name and the account number, and that's it. And it's been very critical because, like I said, people want things that are very fast. Nobody at all likes slow transactions or transaction processes that take a lot of time. So once people, I can't imagine, I can't tell you the number of users we've onboarded in the past few weeks because of that feature alone, because it is very easy, right? You don't have to go through the whole process of, I want to sell USDT, and it asks you, how much on what chain, and it asks you put in the account number. You don't have to go through that again, right? You just need to input the bank, the account number, and the account name, and how much you want to send. So it's very fast, and it's been very critical to our transaction flow and user retention, because the steps are not even up to. I don't think they're up to five, either three or four. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, that's been very critical because, like I said, people love very fast processes. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I'm happy that products like this are coming out of Nigeria first,
Yeah.
because ha-
Yeah.
ha- having used products from the typical Web3 space, you see, like you mentioned at the beginning, how complex they are, or the crypto jargons,
Yeah.
and makes it, you now have to do an entire education just to onboard somebody to use a payment app. So
Yeah.
I really like that. So I feel like everybody should just see and use Nigerian products, and so that we are already hacking that problem here already. Like, they need to come and learn how we are doing it here. So
Yeah.
kudos to you and your team.
Thank you very much.
Um yeah. So now, this is Nigeria, and building from Nigeria is be very crazy, very crazy. So how have local constraints, like whether it's regulation, infrastructural, or even cultural, forced you to build differently or even more efficiently?
So how have local constraints forced us to build um more efficiently? Okay,
Or
so
even differently?
okay, okay. So I can't really lie, because building Nigeria is hard. It's not so easy, right? And a lot of founders and a lot of people can attest to this. You're building for people who have bad internet, basic smartphones, people who don't even want to pay for stuff mostly. So it's a lot, right? So I think the first thing we focused was, I'm still going to go back to building on WhatsApp, was that people want tools that save them time. People want tools that save them money. People want things that go straight to the point. And that was what we did at Azza. So it forced us to cut down a lot of distractions. So we had to simply prioritize the value. This is what we are giving. This is what you need to do to get this. So we had to learn to design fast, to test very fast, and to validate fast. So you're not always working with you're not always working with there's limited resources, right? You're not always working with all the big tech engineering teams, people that have a lot of talent, right? People that have a lot of there's not always a lot of hands. So if you listen to our CEO talk and probably our CEO as well, you'd know that actually we are the customer rep. So that's why the fact that we are still the ones building the engineering team, we are still the customer rep team, because we need to have like one-on-one experiences with these people. So most times when issues arise on the boards, someone is there to answer very, very fast. And this person is always from the team. So most times it's either the CEO or the CEO or the CTO. So first of all, we had to make sure that we are very close to our users, right? So we put our users first in anything we do. So when they have issues, it's very easy to send us a message and get that issue resolved very fast. I think that was one thing we had to do, because in Nigeria, where we are, it's very, very easy for someone to have an issue on a platform, and the next thing they're on social media, you know, talking about it without even reaching out to the platform itself. So we have to make sure that we have to bridge the gap with our users. We made our users feel like we are a family, right? There's a beta testing group, which is basically our main user base. It's a community. So almost a lot of our users are there. And even if they are not on the group, it's very easy to just send a support command to the board, to the bots rather, and it gives you the numbers that you can text to get your issues resolved. So that was the first thing so that was the second thing we did rather. The first thing we did was bringing it to WhatsApp. That was very simple. So people don't have to download apps, they don't have to stress themselves again. So second thing we did, like I said, was to make sure that we bridge the gap between us and our users. So it's more like a family with our users. So the next thing we did was to have like very simpler and more transparent UX. So aside from the fact that it's Nigeria, crypto jargon again is a lot of constraints, because you have to figure out, how do I simplify this information without cutting away the most important parts? So how do I give people information? How do I tell them this is what is happening? But how do I also make sure that it is not so technical? So that was something we had to work on. So we had to avoid crypto jargon and build like conversational flows, basically. So in summary, Nigerian realities taught us to build our products, build products that very simple and fast to use, because the truth is that users here will not tolerate anything else. There's no space for products that are complex and very technical. So you have to become a builder who you understand real users and you are close to them. You prioritize trusts, and then you also ship very fast. So understand what your users need. So you know that I might know that the pay future was recently integrated. So we had to study our users and say, oh, this is what they actually want, and we had to ship that particular feature very fast. So these are things that helped us while we were, building for the Nigerian markets and Africa in general.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm seeing this into be this method of making it easy for users to reach the team
Yeah,
directly. It's like the magic, like you said, is very the way people go to social media these days to it's easier to manage expectations or manage any challenge from there. That's that's a good one.
thanks. Yeah.
Okay, three more questions. We're almost done here.
All right.
Um, how? Okay, sorry, two more questions. You just answered the fifth one. Two more questions. Most of your users um don't have to tweet or need to tweet or jump into the gen trading per se, like tokens, or even need to talk about decentralization. That is, they're not even like you mentioned at the beginning, normies. They are mostly normies. So how do they find you, and what keeps them coming back? I think you mentioned user experience. That's why the user experience is there. But from your feedback, from your reviews, how do they find you, and how do they keep coming back?
Okay. So they keep coming back because first of all they find us because we are out there, we are there, like we try to put the product in people's faces, like everybody's talking about our, so the link to the WhatsApp is everywhere. A lot of people, I can't underestimate, you cannot underestimate the power of referrals. A lot of people were referred by their friends, and they keep coming back because this is a recurring problem. Web3 is currently, making strides, especially in Nigeria, where stablecoin use is on the increase. So even people who are not actively in the Web3 space, they actually need to use crypto because family members, friends, they send crypto to them. Some want to save in crypto, some want to buy, tokens and so on. So somehow there needs to be a way to convert crypto to fiat or fiat to crypto, and this way it has to be something that is very easy and very simple, especially for people who do not even understand the crypto space at all. So people keep coming back to Azza because it is simple and easy to use, and it solves that problem, that the problem that people face often. So things that people do often, they send money to their friends. Freelancers receive money from people they work for. Sometimes it's in crypto, sometimes it's in dollars. You can easily sell your USDT for cash, and you can cash out to your bank in a matter of minutes. So these are things that people do regularly, and these are problems that people face with already existing P2Ps, right? And this keeps them coming back because there is a problem being solved. That's it in summary. It is solving problems. So that's why people keep coming back. Now, other things I can say, because the user experience is very good, and then the fact that you can actually hold the team accountable. So every member of the other team is well known on the group, on Twitter, so you can easily tag anybody and say, "Oh, this is the issue I'm having," and they can easily solve that problem. We're not hiding, and you can't. It's not like we're hiding and you say, "Oh, you don't trust these people because you don't even know them. You see our faces, you know us. You can talk to us anytime." So user experience, um, bridging the gap of talking to people or being close to our users, and then most importantly it is solving a problem. That's the majority of it. Basically it is solving a very crucial problem. I can't say how many horror stories I've heard about Bybit in the past few months. And this is this is funny because I always say this, as I was first built to solve our own problems. So as a dev studio, we currently get paid. We majorly get paid with like crypto, right? So it was a problem because we get paid, you'd have to, on to a popular a popular crypto app, and then you have to wait for the money to get in. So it was just a lot, and we just said, how do we actually solve this problem we face on a regular basis? So the fact that it keeps on solving problems easily and very fast is what makes people coming back. It's what keeps people rather coming back. So yeah, that's why people always come back, and people keep using Azar.
Amazing, 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 amazing. So the product is so good and so simple that people use it and they get to refer their friends. So it just creates
Yeah.
that network effect. That's why building like a product that can market itself makes it even easier for the marketers to even market the product and for the users to even market the product more.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Final question. Final question. Um, what do you think global Web3 builders are getting wrong about product market fit, and what they can learn from how you are building in Nigeria?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay, what do you think global Web3 builders they are getting wrong about achieving product market fit, and what they can learn from how you are building in Nigeria?
Okay. Um, it's a tough question. So I think one that would stand out to me is that sometimes they start with the technology. So they look at technology and not the problem it solves. So they're like, oh, we are trying to build a layer three or a layer four, which is very cool, right? But what is the actual problem? So what are you solving? What is that technology solving? So instead of building because you're fascinated with the technology, why not build to actually solve the problem that people face? So that's one thing that I think is an issue that they often get wrong about product market fit. Because yes, the technology sounds good, it sounds great, but why do I keep using this? Why do I keep coming back to this? It's not solving a particular problem I have currently, so I wouldn't use it too much, right? So it's cool at all, but it doesn't solve my problems. So sometimes they confuse. Okay, I think this one is one I'm going to add. Sometimes they forget that user experience is part of the product. So user experience in the Web3 space is currently gaining like a lot of traction. People are now looking to hire more designers and all that. In fact, I was in a space some days ago, and the other designers were saying, oh, it was so cool that even though Azza doesn't have a very heavy user interface because it's built on WhatsApp, they're actually trying to prioritize user experience. And that's it, right? They forget about user experience. They want to do a UI that looks good and all, but they don't think about what is the actual experience. How simple is this to use? How is the technicality like? Can normies use this? Can laymen use this? So it's just basically repackaging and all. So if I still have to use a product and it's giving me the same headache I use when I use Trust Wallet and stuff like that. And that's a new product that's being built today. It doesn't make sense to me, right? Because I expect that the user experience has to be improved on. So user experience and building for the tech instead of solving problem. So I think first of all, build with like context, right? Build for real people, build, oh, this, if you're building this, let it be a problem that people have faced. So one thing I always say is build software that you can use regularly, not something you not use maybe once in a month or once in 3 months. So build something that you use regularly, solve the problem that you face, because people have also faced that problem that you're currently facing. And when you solve for yourself first, you can take it to the larger market, right? So obsessed over ease. People want things that are easy. Nobody wants to stress themselves. So let your product be very easy to use. Let it be speedy. Let the transaction processes be very, very fast, and let people trust you. That's something that is very important. Because of, we know how Web3 is, people's wallets can easily get drained, things like that, right? You're not building for trust, you're not designing for trust. A lot of people don't design, they don't build for trust. How do you ensure that you build a product that people trust? So you have to consider all these things to ensure that your product actually fits the market. So there's a huge Web3 market, right? There's a huge market, but you have to be very intentional about the problem you're solving and the technology you're using to solve that problem. So a lot of people design for, oh, when when laymen finally get wallets, how will the laymen get the wallet when people in rural areas get the wallet? How will they start using wallets? How? So we need to do things that will solve problems that are already happening. So if you say, oh, you want to go on an educational conference, go into some rural areas and talk to people about onboarding in crypto, okay, that makes sense. But you don't build a product expecting something that will make them start using the products in maybe 5 years time or something. So build for now, build for issues that we can see now. Now this is not to say, oh, we shouldn't look towards the future or look at what could happen in the future. No, that's not what I'm saying. But right now, if you're building a product that people are going to be using regularly, you need to get it right now and build for the markets that currently exist. So especially if you're building in Africa, there's a lot, right? We already know there are a lot of constraints, there are a lot of regulations, there are high stakes, people issues. So just know that you need to build for trust, prioritize ease and trust, prioritize good user experience, and make sure that your problem is actually your product rather is actually solving problems that people face almost every day. So that's what I think I have to say here. I did you get that?
Right? We are trying to solve problems that have not even come. We are building some very crazy tech, yet we have problems today. So solve that's one of the major takeaways from this last thing you said. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Faith, for the time this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you as well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm back. My network was a bit shaky. Okay. So in the coming days, I'm going to put this out on YouTube. Also, repurpose for a blog post and thread. Just amplify the things you've shared here today and let people see that we have a solution right here in Nigeria that you can trust. You can
Yeah.
trust more than any. Yeah. So I know I have your permission to do that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm going to let like the rest of my team know, CEO and CTO. I wish they'd have been part of this call, but that's fine. So I'm going to like give feedback to them about how it went. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to tag when I put it out on X and all of that. I'm going to tag you and your team so you can maybe amplify for other people. So the goal here is for more people to have more stuff. There are too many bad news online about Nigeria, so we need to have like stories of how we are, making it in this hash market, creating products
Yeah.
that really serve from this market. All right. Thank you so much. And I hope you do enjoy the rest of your week. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Thank you. Thank you as well. Enjoy the rest of your week too.
all right
Uh,
now. Bye.
Bye.